you might as well set up a gyro arrangement and transfer 1 to 2 years of your premium to your agent's account, because that's what you're basically doing when you purchase an ILP like this. Hey, welcome to Satisfy YouTube channel. In my channel, we talk about personal finance, money, and how ILP actually stands for I Love Paying. Today, I'm going to analyze another policy sent to me by Danny, and Danny actually purchased this policy and have already paid 1.5 years of premiums. Now again, this is not personal financial advice, okay? I suggest not to take advice from a random YouTuber. Go and do your own due diligence and research, and then make your own informed decision on what to do with your policy. Okay, so here we have the policy illustration for this investment-linked policy. It has a minimum investment period of 30 years, and it's for a policy term of 75 years. So for someone age 24, this is until age 99. So a whole of life ILP. You don't have to keep it for that long, but there is a minimum of 30 years. The annual premium is $3,600, and all these funds will come back to later on. Now the death benefit is very minimal. It's only about 101% of total account value. Before age 66, they also pay an additional 15% of total account value minus the top-ups and single premiums that you have paid. And after 66, they only pay 101% of total account value. So it looks like a 101 ILP, which is a single premium ILP. But is that really the case? We'll find out soon enough.
No, it's not.
So as with many insurance policies, you actually see this line where they tell you buying a life insurance policy can be a long-term commitment, right? And if you terminate early, there'll be high costs. Your surrender value will be less than what you have paid for. And a lot of people readily accept this as if it's a fact of life, right? But why is it that whatever I get is less than the premiums I paid? Spoiler alert, distribution costs, right? We see more of that in effect later on. Oh hey, what's this? Well, sorry, I have to play the YouTube game, so please give me an early like to boost this video and my channel. Appreciate the support. So here we are at the meat and bone of the policy, which is the investment returns, right? When you buy such a policy, it's not for death coverage, obviously, right? It is for the investment returns over the years. And they illustrate a 4% investment return as well as 8% investment return. Now, the first 2 years is very telling what kind of policy this is. You actually put in $3,600 of premiums, but if you surrender the first year, you get $0 back. Second year, same thing, another $3,600. You only get $100 back, and if it performs at 8% investment return. So this tells us that this is a regular premium ILP, which is something that I have warned you not to purchase. Every other investment, including single premium ILPs, if you purchase $3,600 in the first year and the investment grows by 8%, you can expect to get back your principal plus a bit of returns. But this one, completely zero. And why? We'll learn later, but spoiler alert, distribution cost. Now, when you purchase such a policy, they actually give you a very high account value at the start. So you put in $3,600, there's actually $4,757. And it seems like, wow, I made a lot of money, right? And second year, the same thing happens. But if you really need the money and you terminate it, look at the pathetic amount that you receive. In fact, at 8% investment returns, it will be about 15 years before you see your premiums breaking even, which is $55,000 when you have put in $54,000 of premium. Now, of course, the account value again looks very attractive, but can you actually cash this out now? The answer is no. And the next 15 or so years, if you need to terminate this policy, you're just not going to see much returns. In fact, you'll be lucky if you even get any return at all. Now, compare this to investing outside, 7% per annum after fees. You have $96,000, and you're free to withdraw this or stop contributing, right? Entirely flexible, and you don't have to suffer any surrender charges. So if you lapse your policy before year 15, you're actually making a loss. And then after year 15, it's not much better. You actually have a lot of opportunity cost because you could have used this to invest elsewhere and gain a much better return, right? 18 years after putting in $64,000, you only get back $85,000. That's a very poor rate of return. And this is assuming that the funds perform at 8%. So you're taking on the investment risk of 8% investment return only to get about 0% return to about 3% return if you were to lapse the policy in the first 20 years. And even if you can hold it to 30, 35 years, the story isn't much better, right? At year 35 of the policy, right, you have paid $126,000. And if the policy grows at 8% per annum, you can expect to get $436,000. Now, this seems like a great return, okay, but is it really? Right, so every year, if you save $3,600 and you grow it for 35 years at 8% per annum return, you can actually get $669,000, right? So that's 200 over $1,000 of difference. Now, of course, you can say, okay, not realistic to assume 8% without any fees. So let's choose 7% then. $532,000, which is almost $100,000 more than if you went with this policy. So I hope you like your agent a lot. By giving him the commission that he got from selling you this policy, your opportunity cost over 35 years is enough to buy a nice car. Now, it's made worse by the fact that the projections here actually assume a 1.3% per annum management charge. Now, I've looked at the fund management charge of the funds in this policy, and most of them actually exceed this 1.3% per annum figure. So the figure that you'll see here actually will not even be as much. And the thing is, if you really like these funds, right, you can actually get most of them outside without having to buy them through an ILP like this. So why even bother with this ILP? There's no added feature nor advantage, right, to buying something like that. You're just giving the agent more commission. You can just buy these exact funds outside. So why bother? You might as well set up a gyro arrangement and transfer 1 to 2 years of your premium to your agent's account and then buy the funds yourself, because that's what you're basically doing when you purchase an ILP like this. And when I recommend these funds in the first place, well, just look at the annual management fee and the expense ratios, and I think you know my answer. And as you can see, the distribution costs that comes out from the policy can be more than the premium paid, because the insurer knows that you're not going to lapse the policy within the first few years, right? They can actually afford to give the agent and his manager more commission upfront for selling this policy. So if you like your agent very much, this policy is perfect for you to get. He or she will thank you, go for incentive trips, get upfront commission that he or she can invest for her retirement. Meanwhile, for you, okay, you may get a very attractive account value, but that doesn't really work in your favor. In the short term, you don't get to enjoy it. In the long term, you're better off elsewhere. So Danny, having already paid 1.5 years of premium, I think he has incurred most of the distribution costs. Now, I think if someone were to invest $3,600 now for the next 20, 30 years, that person might be able to match Danny's investment returns in the same period of time, despite Danny starting 1.5 years early. In fact, I think that person might even outperform him because of lower fees over the next 20, 30 years. Given that most of the upfront costs have already been incurred, I think it makes very little difference whether or not you should continue or find a replacement. Of course, I think the main difference now is that the funds that you're invested in all have pretty high management fees, and you can consider trying to look for better funds within your insurer's list of funds. But again, the choice should be quite limited. For anyone considering such a policy, I will encourage you to think twice, thrice, quadruple. And I think you should consider the alternatives, which I will list down in the comments below. Right, until next time, subscribe to my Telegram and I'll see you next video. Hey, welcome to Satisfy YouTube channel. In my channel, we talk about personal money, still personal money.